This video is to show you how to put data into a text box. I showed you how to clear data from a text box. How do I put data into it? So if I calculate the area of a room, how does this number go in here? How does this data get in here? So I had to add a couple labels, another label in the text box for the height, and another label in the text box for the area. So when I click on calculate, the area shows. So all I did was sorry about the scrolling. Just copy and pasted this code for the label in the text box for the width, and I just pasted it down here, and I changed it to height, label height, and text height. They're still on row 1, but their column is column 3 and 4. Here's column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. So the columns are different. I did put the cursor, when this thing first runs, I put the cursor in this text box right away. So when the program runs, the cursor has this text box has to focus. And that's done with this line 31 right here, text width, set to focus. I put this label in text box underneath the buttons, so you got to go underneath the code that creates the buttons, and I added a label in a text box. I put them on row 3, row 1, row 2, row 3. So they're in row 3, column 1, column 2. So when I hit calculate, I have to, or the program, excuse me, has to grab these two numbers and multiply them from those two text boxes. You use the get method. So here's the calculate area. It's the text box name dot get. So it's going to get the data from the text box as a string, send it back to the program as a string, have your program convert it to a float, a decimal number, or you can convert it to an integer, int, if you want. I convert to a decimal. Same with the width. And now I'm going to do math with them. So we'll have a local variable for length and width, and a local variable called area. These variables only live in this method. Now I want to display it. Let's say I want to display it to the hundredths only. Right now I'm displaying it to the 4 places to the right of the decimal. So that's what this does. It takes the contents of this variable called area, which is a numerical piece of data. It's storing a number, and it shows 4 places to the right. This is called an F string. So it's going to convert this to a string. But first it's going to convert it. It's going to show 4 places to the right of the decimal, then convert it to a string and store it in this variable. When you put data into a text box, here's how you do it. You use the insert. This argument here has to be a string. It has to be a variable of type string that stores a string, or it could be something of this nature, where you put the string inside quotation marks, and I'll show you what I mean. So let me stop this. But text boxes only take a string. So I have a variable currently that is of type string, or I could put an actual string literal there, and I run it. I'll put some numbers in here just so it doesn't crash. But when I calculate, it's going to show this some string literal. And so it's either going to be, something in quotation marks, or a variable that holds a string as that second argument. Let's put it down to 2 places to the right of the decimal. Now let's run it. So 5.5, 9.4, calculate. Now it shows 2 places to the right. So that's how you insert data into a text box. That's how you put data into a text box using insert. Start at 0, and then this second argument has to be a variable of type string, or it can be a string literal, something that's being surrounded by quotation marks. Okay, and this is called an F string. This allows you to format your numerical data. And it returns a string, so I have a variable of type string. I can actually put this right smack here if I wanted to. I can actually put that right there, I think.